Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody, to another morning open live stream. Hello, hello, hello. We're going to get started in a bit. We're just waiting for some people to come on, and then we will officially start. Friday morning, end to a week. I hope everyone's had a good week. It's been a very, very busy week for me. A little bit stressful, a little bit emotional, but we're here at the end of the week. The market is, I guess, trying to end on a good night and or on a good weekend. Now we're gonna see if this rally lasts all the way till the end, because Fridays is when the market tends to sell off, and the reason the market tends to sell off on Fridays is because people are more afraid of the volatility that's going to happen over the weekend. If something were to happen with Russia and Ukraine, that would be major news, which would affect the market on Monday. So that's really, really important. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Tai Kun Lee. Good morning from Germany. What's up, Germany? I'm a violinist. I love it. Great stuff. I played trumpet for a couple of years. I was really bad at it. So it didn't work out, but I always wish I could have succeeded in music. Gas prices in my area is around $4.23 right now, but I was talking to a friend in California last night. He's in San Diego. It's about $6.20. I couldn't imagine paying $6.20 for gas. Like, if I had to, obviously I would, but like that's a different level. It's insane. Yo, got married and bought a condo this week. Talk stressful. I'm glad I'm not alone. First of all, congratulations for UC us for getting married. That's pretty amazing, because getting married is not an easy thing to do. So happy you got married and bought a condo. Let's head over to Webull. Market is not doing that bad right now. Palantir is holding up pretty well. It's at 11.99 right now, 11.98. The entire market, though, is green. If you look at a lot of these different shares, or if you just go through your watch list. So we're going to see what happens in market open. But the reason primarily for why this is happening is right here. Dow futures are jumping 300 points on hope there will be progress in Russia-Ukraine ceasefire talks. So futures rose ahead of Friday's session following a report that ceasefire talks could be gaining traction between Russia and Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin said that certain positive shifts have occurred in the talks. That right there is why it's very difficult to short the market, because one piece of good news, and if you don't get out of your short quick enough, can change the entire thesis. The S&P 500's negative 12% decline from its peak suggests much of the froth has been taken out. Stocks are largely pricing in the geopolitical shock, where the S&P 500 fell 9% from peak to throw since Russia-Ukraine headlines in early Feb, similar to a 7 to 8% fall in prior macro geopolitical events. And this is what I said a long time ago. If we go to the SPY right now, the market did not sell off the Russia-Crimea situation back in 2014. So as we can see here, we go to 2014. Right here, this time, January, so if we get closer, January 2014, Crimea happens, we're at 180. By July, Crimea is over, we're at 192, and Crimea was over by like 190 by March. So this right here is what happened to the market. I mean, we barely have a red candle in 2014. If we keep going further and further, you start to notice that's kind of what's happening here. This right here was 2019. This was when Powell crashed the market. This was 2020 COVID. And now we are here, right? So we were at a high of 480, 27% year-over-year growth on the S&P. Absolutely crazy. And then we had a lot of things happen, not just geopolitical risks, a lot of macro level things, including inflation, supply chains, etc. So I would say we got to like 430. This 430 to 425, this was primarily driven probably by the oil prices and geopolitical risks. But now that that's baked in, the question is, do we get a recovery? And does this largely, like in the grand scheme of things, look at this drop. It's not as insane. Like in COVID, we had what, 320 down to 240. That's a drop. Here, 480 to 430, it's like, it's not the craziest in the world. Morning, Mitt. Love the channel. Been watching you since about 1K subs. Awesome seeing how quickly you've gained attention. Thank you so much, Dan, Sophie, for being here. Awesome. Owen, if this is the reason for green, expect the market to do poorly today. FOMC this month is a bigger catalyst. Yeah, but I think the FOMC thing is priced in. So like, I don't think people care anymore about the rate hike. Like, if the market actually sells off a rate hike, that would be a little insane to me, because we know it's coming. There's like, when the January minutes came out, or the December minutes came out, we didn't know it was coming, right? The main event on the economic calendar Friday is the preliminary reading for the University of Michigan Consumer Confidence Survey, expected to nudge higher to read 62 to 61.7 in February. That's going to be important whenever that comes out, which should be coming out today. Yeah, Friday. So we'll see when that comes out. And yeah, that's sort of the main reason why it's green right now. Good morning, Mitt, Legend of C. I have to admit, you're the man. I love it, Alvarado. Appreciate it. Russia openly calls criminal investigation of Meta over death calls on Facebook. Interesting. Now, the question, and the reason I clicked on this article is because the question is, when do companies go back into Russia? Because here's the thing, right? If let's say Russia and Ukraine come to some type of agreement where they're like, all right, we're chill, we were sorry, all that stuff happened, I know people died, but like, we're good, which is absolutely insane for that to be the reason for why it would work like that. But if that's the reason, right, then the question becomes, do all these companies that left Russia, do they go back? Facebook, YouTube, Google, Apple, Pepsi, all these companies. Because if Russia is chill, then that's going to be okay. The problem is, Joe Biden is expected to sign something today that legitimately gets rid of all trade relations with Russia. That was the breaking news that came out last night. He's going to do a press conference today. So when Biden signs this decree that ends the normalization of trade relations with Russia, I mean, like, it's not going to be easy to do business with Russia. This is something that probably should have been done in 2014, to be honest. Like, after they did Crimea, we probably should have been like, yeah, we're just not messing with you guys. But we're doing it now. And that's going to be the question of how that ultimately affects our economy. Good morning from Istanbul, Turkey. What's up, Boris? Good morning. No matter what other people say and analysts say, Palantir is one of the safest stocks right now. Not good, not Apple, but yeah, I mean, I feel the same, man. I really feel the same. Like, Palantir to me is one of those famous stocks. Also, guys, we got a new letter from Palantir yesterday that I think you guys, I don't know if you guys have heard of it. I'm doing a video on it a little bit later today. By the way, if you're not following me on Twitter, at Amit is investing, please make sure to go follow me there. Alex Karp has released a letter in defense of Europe, a letter from the Chief Executive Officer, March 10th, 2022. Has anyone seen this? Because this stuff, to me, was poetry. This stuff was very, very poetic. So a couple of things, right? I'm not going to read the whole thing, but there's some really interesting parts here, right? When we founded our company, it was broadly assumed that the only way to effectively combat terrorism was to build software platforms that would assist the state in gathering every shred of information and evidence about its citizens, without any concern for their rights. We rejected this assumption from the start. This paragraph right here is the FU to all the people that think Palantir steals data. Realize, when they founded their company after 9/11, the goal was to help the government deal with counterterrorism. Because when 9/11 happened, it seemed like technology could solve that problem, but technology wasn't being used to solve that problem. The assumption was they needed a ton of evidence on citizens, meaning they needed a ton of private data on individuals, which would violate our civil liberties. They rejected that assumption from the start. Our business has grown over the years precisely because we refused to build what the market thought it wanted and make the misguided fantasy of an omniscient state. The access control, security, and privacy protections and constraints on use that we build into our software platforms, that is, the limitations of the power of such software as its fortifications against misuse, are what preserve our collective freedom. So this is the argument they're making for why, look, we've actually been able to limit the amount of privacy concerns that have been happening on our business or on individuals via our technology, and that's why we've survived so long, right? And that's why we've survived so long. Now, here's the main important part. But Europe and its allies must not forget that the relationship between the vulgar power of the state, its credible threat of effective violence to extend the operation of politics by other means, meaning if you don't like pay your taxes, they'll put a gun to your head. And the ability of that state to advance its views on individual liberty or the appropriate limitations of state surveillance, for example, are inextricably linked. They can do good stuff, they can do bad stuff. The privilege to engage in defending the individual against state power is made possible by the state itself. Look at that. I mean, like, for those who don't get it, that is top tier philosophical analysis right there. This is why he got his PhD in philosophy. The privilege to engage in defending the individual against state power is only made possible by state power itself. Meaning, if the state gives you, for example, in America, the right to bear arms, that is a state-given right? The Second Amendment. That is our ability as an individual to defend against the tyranny of the state. But it is provided as a foundational right of human existence in the United States by the state. The state gives the individual the ability to actually defend itself. So the argument he makes a little bit later throughout the essay is that an embrace of the relationship between the technology of the state, between disruptive companies that seek to dislodge the grip of entrenched contractors in the federal government ministries with funding, will be required for Europe and its allies to remain strong enough to defeat the threat of foreign occupation, which is like Russia, Ukraine, right? Our software is the fight around the world the center will hold, but we need an allied technology industry in Europe to step up and fight this battle alongside us in order to win. This is essentially his sales pitch to Europe around what's going on in Russia, Ukraine. And he's like, hey, if you want to defend yourself against crazy, crazy people that are going to do crazy, crazy things, then you should really hire Palantir. It is a sales pitch with a adamant and firm resolve to recognize that, look, I know things are bad right now, but we are the ones that could actually help, and you should really check us out because we can really do some amazing things. So I thought this sales letter was really, really good. And if you'll find it if you just go to Palantir.com, it'll be the first link at the very top. Good morning, Range Rover. Positive talks as Russia sends more troops right after that statement and blocks Instagram. Yeah, that's why I'm just like, I don't know if these positive talks are going to, I don't know if they're necessarily going to last, per se. Who's buying the Rivian dip? Let's go to Rivian. Rivian is disgusting. I don't know why anyone would have bought this stock. Like, I don't get it at all. It IPO'd at like $100-something, right? It IPO'd at what, 107, ran up to 180. Banks made their profits, and then they've been selling ever since. And now it's at 39. Now, granted, if Rivian has a lot of potential, 39 could be amazing. I mean, 39 could be really, really good. But the question is if it has that much of a potential. And, like, I don't think it does. I mean, if you're comparing it against Tesla, like, would you rather put your money in Tesla or Rivian? It's like, what's so special about Rivian? Now, granted, they have funding. Oh, the other thing about Amazon is that Amazon has to show like a $5.2 billion loss on Rivian on their next quarterly earnings. And that was an $11 billion gain on net income on this earnings. So I think the stock split was also like, hey, next earnings is not going to look well for us in terms of this Rivian thing unless this price goes up. They own a decent amount of equity in it. So now that stock split, I think hopefully was to, give investors something to look forward to. But yeah, I'm not sure if it's going to stay. That's Rivian. The other stock that got crushed last night was Docusign. By the way, we are 1 minute away from market open. I have my bell ready. 10 p.m. here in Taiwan. Hello, my guy. What's up, ALE? Thank you for joining. Samuel Messier. Hey, Amit. Hello, Samuel. Thank you for being here. Okay. DocuSign 76. Market open. Market open. Let's go to our watch list. Okay. Not too bad. There's a lot of green at the bottom with tech. A lot of green at the bottom. Let's go to our beloved Palantir. Let's see how that goes. All right, Palantir is down, but it's not crazy. 1186, little red candle forming. So we were at 1190. We were at 1206 in pre-market, by the way, guys. We had beat 12. Not too bad. 1190, back to a little bit. So that green red is fighting right there. Code Rilla, hello, greetings from Germany. Owen said grossly valued at 120. Upstart. We'll talk about Upstart in a second. Ooh, we just had some massive selling right there on Palantir. If you guys can see that book value. Wow. Okay. Not too bad. Let's see what else is going on. We got SPY up $3, up 0.7%. Nice green candle forming on SPY. Nvidia 230, not bad. It's out of the 220s. Crowd 190. Crowd has held its earnings gain. Crowd went from like 169 to 190. Very, very nice for Crowd. People who are shareholders of Crowd, if you have not sold it, should be pretty happy. Google's at 27. Well, yeah, it was at 27 under pre-market. Google is looking more and more interesting to me by the day. I'm liking Google, and it's getting nice and nicer and nicer. Brian feels like Palantir can never get three green days in a row. Honestly, like, it's not. Yeah, I mean, when it rips, it's gonna rip, and we don't know when that's gonna happen. But when it happens, it will be glorious. But when will it happen? I don't know. Roku at 112. Kathy's been loading up on this one. Let's check out ARK and see how ARK is doing. ARK's below 60. And ARK has not been rallying as much as the rest of the market has been rallying this week, which leads me to think, to be honest, that investors are just annoyed at ARK. Like, that's the way I see from it. Investors are just absolutely annoyed by ARK. Polestars gave themselves a conservative market cap of 20 billion with 2 billion shares, a multiple of 13x and 29 carriers sold, blah, blah. If they hit the goal by 2025, they get a market cap. Yeah, Polestar is a lot more attractive to me than Rivian, because Polestar was very conservative with their valuation, and they kind of gave decent expectations. So Polestar is actually not the worst thing in the world. The question is just the opportunity cost of capital. Do you put your money into Polestar, or do you put your money into Tesla? Like, if you're going to invest in EVs and you're looking for growth, even if Tesla's not going to 10x as quickly as the other ones, the bet that, like, Tesla gives you, to me, is just far superior than a lot of the other ones, right? Robinhood, this is a Kathy favorite at $12. I mean, guys, this is the one stock I'm like, yo, I know she picked some weird stocks, but Robinhood is one of those stocks where I'm like, bruh, I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't get Robinhood. I don't know why she's buying this thing. I don't know. If Robinhood's financials look absolutely disgusting, if you've actually looked at them. They take a net loss for the past 2 quarters. After, you know how every stock peaked in February 2021? That was literally Robinhood's earnings, because they had a massive amount of crypto trading, new users signed up. Their daily active users has gone down. The total accounts funding has gone down. They haven't been able to grow the level of trading that they've been doing on the app. They have not released crypto wallets in like forever. They haven't innovated on any of the financial services like lending or 401ks. That SoFi has all of those, by the way. It's just a trading app that's gamified, and I get it. But it's like, even me, I've used Robinhood. I'm starting to get away from Robinhood. I'm just starting to transfer all my shares into something like Fidelity or something like Charles Schwab. So it's like, if I don't use Robinhood anymore, like, are you just going to rely on regular retail investors? I don't know. Robinhood's not the interesting one. Jacob says, LOL, she just picks when new hires fresh out of college tell her to pick. Hood makes even less sense than Roku. Yeah, man. Hood is weird. Hood is weird. All right, let's check out CNBC. Let's see some of the analysis they are talking about there as well. Oh, by the way, we have a new Palantir developers video. They are coming out with the content. Coming out with the content. This is interesting. Kevin O'Leary says 20% of his portfolio is in crypto. Let's listen to this. For the crypto fans, this should be fun.
So negative for a while and just definitive, like you always are. You may know nothing, but you're never in doubt. But you were so negative. Then you got totally positive. Do you own Bitcoin now? Kevin, what's your position in crypto right now? You do. Have you sold major parts of it? You have a lot of it, or as much?
No. Look, Bitcoin is not a coin, Joe. It's simply software. Ethereum is software. If you own, HBAR software. If you own Microsoft, if you own Google, why don't you own Bitcoin? It's all software. It's productivity software.
You own one Bitcoin? Do you have a real position in it? Because you're a wealthy guy.
I have millions of dollars. 20% of my portfolio is now in cryptocurrencies and blockchain.
Hey, Kevin, so I was on the phone yesterday with a sort of a big-time crypto guy, and he was talking about how crypto was like the operating, multiple operating systems for telephone, for mobile telephones years ago. But it made me think maybe that means we're in the beginning of something, which is fabulous, but it also makes me think of Palm. Does everyone remember Palm? Or RIM, which is BlackBerry, or, I mean, you could go down the list. iOS and Android didn't show up to the scene until a decade or two after the fact. And I only raise it because I wonder sort of where you think we are in all of this and whether it means that the Bitcoins and some of the coins that we're looking at now and talking about will be around or will be obsolete in a decade from now.
Well, you have to be diversified. I own 32 different positions, including equity in FTX itself. And I have to disclose, I'm a paid spokesperson for that company. I'm backing their initiatives. But the whole point is, you don't know who's going to win. Is Ethereum going to win? Is Solana going to win? Is it Helium? Or is it Avalanche? I own them all. And luckily, they're just software development teams. You go meet these people, you find out they're in their 20s, they're the smartest engineers in the world. If you graduate from MIT right now, you don't want to work for an old industrial company. You want to go to a blockchain company. So we should support this initiative and be the leader in policy, because right now the world is waiting. The Canadians are more advanced. They have the very first...
Yo, Kevin knows how to pump. Kevin knows how to pump, bro. Like he said, Bitcoin is software. It's not a coin. It's software. I don't know. Do you guys agree with that? Is Bitcoin and Ethereum just software? Like, I mean, that's an interesting argument to make. I wouldn't disagree with it, but like, I don't necessarily know if it's like software like Google or Facebook. I think the stuff you build on the Ethereum network is software. I don't know if Bitcoin and Ethereum are software. I mean, that's a very interesting idea to be able to put out there. If he makes a lot or losses everything, it doesn't matter because he has many asset classes. Yeah, that's true. Now, Kevin O'Leary is also bullish on Facebook, guys. Meta. Let's go to Facebook stock. This is the one stock I sold that I actually sold for in a good way. I should have sold earlier, but 190. Look at all this red. Look at all these people selling this thing, bro. Look at this. People are just like, screw Facebook. People like, screw this stock, yo. It's wild. You know what's so crazy about Facebook to me? Is like, will Facebook ever actually become Yahoo? That's the question. Will Facebook become Yahoo? Because Yahoo had what Facebook had, which is like this monopoly on just like content. And then people were coming to it for it. If you think about Facebook, what is it? It's a blog where you post stuff and they put a ton of ads where other people post stuff. That's all it is. And again, I'm bullish on Facebook. I like the ads business. I think it's a phenomenal service for small businesses. But is there a world in which people just stop using it? Why doesn't it become Yahoo? Now, Instagram is the hard part. Instagram is the moneymaker for Facebook. I don't think Instagram's going away. By the way, let me show you this website, guys. This is a really good website to like look at traffic. I actually did this. I did a tweet yesterday around this. And Brian, you said check Palantir. Palantir's at 1190, really good. So I just checked right now. Let's see if we can break 12 today. I mean, that's the goal. I think that would be breaking over the 200 or the 20-day moving average. That would be awesome if we could do that. But we're going to see. So if we go to Palantir.com, you can see their traffic on this website called SimilarWeb. And this is probably the best website for actually accurate results on traffic. Their traffic since November went from 472,000, January 575,000 to 593,000. So their traffic has increased. Now, it's not like a massive increase, but their traffic has decently increased. And I also looked at the keyword search analysis for the word Palantir, and that keyword is searched 550,000 times on Google. So on an average, like around 20,000 times a day, something like that, 15,000 times a day, which is not bad. Not bad. I mean, for a company like Palantir, for it to get that level of search traffic, its global rank, it is the 71st thousand website in the world, 60,000th website in the United States. Now let's compare that to Facebook. Okay, Facebook's a little bit different. D-Splash, I'm really just in here listening every day. I appreciate you, D-Splash, being here. It means a lot to me as well. Facebook, look at their traffic. November, 21 billion. December, 21 billion. January, 18.8 billion. their traffic decreased by 3 billion. Now, I'm not saying that's like insane or anything. Obviously, Facebook still has a ton of traffic, but that's something to think about. And also, people stop, like December, Christmas, holidays. That's when like people are using the internet. They're buying a lot of stuff. They're doing all that stuff. So like it tends to have a natural decline in January. But think of all the traffic they get versus all the traffic something like like Palantir gets. It's a lot. And then let's look at YouTube. YouTube is an animal in terms of traffic. Look at this. 35 billion in November, 35 billion December, 32 billion January. So again, it goes down from December to January, but 30 billion people, or 30 billion times the website was visited. Like, that's insane, bro. Like, it makes you think how crazy big the world is. Let's go to Google. Google will actually blow your mind. $83 billion, $91 billion, $82 billion. Bruh. This is insane. And also, by the way, guys, this is not Google Trends. This is SimilarWeb. This is an external third party that measures this stuff. That's a lot of search traffic. A lot of search traffic. So when you think of like websites and their ability to maintain their ability to go, like their traffic, all that stuff, that's one thing to think about. If you look at PayPal, PayPal stock has been decimated, right? 300 to 90. Let's look at their traffic. Their traffic is kind of significantly going down, if you can see. Like, it's not just a regular go down. It's not just like 536 million to 534 million. This is a steep decline. This shows like a little less use of Facebook. And if you use the PayPal, if you use the PayPal app, it counts as traffic, right? Going back to the website. So that's really important, is there. Amit, did you see every institutions buying every dip in Palantir? Yeah, if you go on my channel, I did a video called institutions buying the dip on Palantir. This was back in like February. I made this video around Valentine's Day. So there is a lot of institutional buying in Palantir right now. We're looking at around 40% on Palantir institutional growth, which is pretty good. Palantir back to 1188. It's hard to break 12. We got to break 12. 12 is the hard part. 12 is the hard part. We got to do that. 12 is the hard part. Dip in January due to more school days and fewer vacation days. Yeah, that's also true. Less people are at home able to do stuff. SPY holding up really well. Not bad. Adferent, this is a Palantir SPAC. This has been holding up very well. Cellularity as well, another Palantir SPAC, was holding up pretty good as well. $10, like, goodness gracious. Cellularity was at really low levels the past month. Cellularity was at $5. This is a 100% gain on Cellularity on this Palantir SPAC. Now, it is a biotech, so it's a little bit more riskier, but not bad at all. Not bad at all. Look at Salesforce and Snowflake. Let's actually look at Snowflake. I haven't looked at Snowflake in a bit. Wow. Red candle on Snowflake. So if we look at Snowflake on the 1 month, this is where we had earnings drop. It was trading at 260 down to 220, and then it went even lower that day, down to 180, and now we're kind of in this 194 range. Now, this is probably the appropriate valuation for Snowflake. I don't think this should not be the appropriate valuation for Snowflake, because Snowflake is massively, richly valued. I won't say overvalued because they're growing at 100% year over year, but they spent so much on sales and marketing versus product. I mean, they're just, you know, their ability to just grow is phenomenal, but they're spending a lot to get that growth. And I don't think that necessarily should reflect in a richly valued stock price. Someone says, hey, Amit, does this market look like the dot-com bubble in 2000? It did, but it already popped. If there was a bubble, like, these stocks we're happy if Palantir gets to $12. Palantir was at $29 in November. Like, it popped. The bubble popped. It's over. Anyone who's thinking dot-com, okay, it was dot-com 2001, it's done. It crashed. We're already there. So for like, the only thing that would make it worse is if we go into a recession. And I think that's possible, but given how the market reacted this week, given if Russia-Ukraine talks get better, you know, inflation, I can't even hold my head on that because inflation is ridiculous. Like, a recession is possible. It's just a question of, if the market has crashed so much, why would there be a recession? Now, if you raise interest rates at too premium of a level, that would lead to an unnecessary recession. The problem is we've already baked in that we're raising interest rates 25 basis points. And because the market is down, like significantly. The S&P's down like 10, 15%. There's no need to raise interest rates that much higher unless inflation literally just doesn't go away. Then it's like, all right, let's raise it even higher, right? I think the next inflation report after after the FOMC meeting, that's going to determine a lot of different things. That's going to determine a lot of different things, and we're going to see. Let's look at Snowflake. Snowflake's at 202. Now Snowflake reached 311 November 2021. That's interesting. So Snowflake I'm sorry, not Snowflake, Salesforce. November 2021, and now it's down to 200. Last time it was at 200 was July 2020. And it had a massive dip to 130. This is when I should have been buying Salesforce. Well, April 2020, everyone should have been buying everything, to be honest, but yeah, Salesforce, people compare Palantir to Salesforce a lot and say, look, Salesforce if you just look at the max chart, Salesforce in 2004 debuted at $3 a share, and it's had this nice steady little rise, and it's gone all the way. If we're buying Palantir at $10, I think Palantir is just more innovative than something like Salesforce. I think there's a lot more stuff Palantir can do. There's a ton of different products that Palantir can work with. So there's a lot more room for potential. But this type of growth trajectory, I think we can see in the next 2 years for Palantir, right? I don't think it has to take 20 years for this to happen. Tom Nash said, you said Russia, Ukraine. I'm here. I got a red light that goes on every time you said it. Yeah, I did say it. We were talking about we were talking about how Russia and Ukraine have had peace talks, which is why the market is rallying today. And they've been productive peace talks. So that's the reason I brought them up. Interest rates have to go up to fight inflation. Inflation is the silent killer that destroys the economy. Yeah, I mean, I know, I think we all know interest rates have to go up to fight inflation. But if we raise interest rates, as Tom Nash educated me on a different podcast a while back, the government is kind of screwed as well. Because if we raise interest rates to 8% to combat 7.9% inflation, we have to pay 8% interest on the $23 trillion of debt we are in, which is more trillions of dollars of debt. It's a lot. So it's hard. Showcat CRM is probably at fair value right now. Yes, I agree. I think Salesforce is probably at fair value right now as well. Don't smash nothing. Don't click nothing. Actually, no. Smash the like button. I don't care if Tom is here. Smash the like button, please. That would help us. Tom has 280,000 subscribers. I have 10,000. So I need you guys to smash the like button. No, I'm just kidding. So really, really interesting stuff, right? I think one of the things to understand around this market right now is if we're actually going to be able to hold it up. And, it'll be funny if 12:30, because that's when after lunch things tend to shift a little bit. We just get that flop. And when that flop happens, that's going to be interesting if it does happen. If it doesn't happen, then that's great. But it's also Friday. Remember that on Fridays, markets sell off because they don't want to deal with the volatility over the weekend. And the volatility over the weekend is not the best thing for them to be able to deal with. Tom says, LOL, I feel like the Spider-Man meme. That is true, bro. You definitely look like the Spider-Man meme. So that's something important to understand. The grammar has always bothered me, but I guess English isn't his first language. Tom's accent is like the sexiest accent that I've ever, it's actually part of the reason I think people come back to listen to him. It's like, it's the coolest thing ever. All right. Have you guys seen this article? This is interesting. I wish Palantir had invested in these guys. It would have been really, really, really fun. Hypersonic aircraft startup Hermes raises $100 million to finish its prototype, build out the fleet. This is an aircraft that is trying to fly 5 times the speed of sound, or Mach 5. They are going to be done with their aircraft by 2023. It's something that should allow you to get from Los Angeles to Tokyo within hours, like super quick stuff. Hermesia's fundraising was led by venture capitalist Sam Altman and joined by Peter Thiel's Founders Fund and In-Q-Tel. Now, In-Q-Tel is the same place that funded Palantir. They're the CIA, the venture capital arm, right? So these guys obviously have an interest in this hypersonic aircraft being constructed because if America has a hypersonic aircraft, that's really good for America, right? That's going to protect Western democracy. That's going to give us a very strong... I mean, I don't know if people in China and Russia are creating hypersonic aircrafts that can fly 5 times the speed of sound. So that's the purpose of the In-Q-Tel in the first place. And then Thiel's Founder Fund. Founders Fund is Thiel's venture capital fund that just raised $5 billion. So you would think that Palantir would play a role in like, if this was like, I would imagine now granted, this is not a SPAC, this is a startup, so it's a little bit more riskier, but like, this is where I would think a strategic investment by Palantir would actually be really, really interesting and really, really good. Uncle Sam can pull out $30 trillion out of thin air. Yeah, that's true. Uncle Sam can't do that. Hermesius is pursuing an ambitious vision that seems impossible at first glance, but they pair it with an engineering culture and business roadmap that can actually bring it to reality. The Atlanta-based company is developing aircraft that would travel at 5 times the speed of sound. Founded in 2018, Hermesius has been developing its Chimera engine and quarter-horse prototype aircraft to demonstrate the capability and reliability of its approach. Hermesius said the new funds will be dedicated to completing development of their jet, build 3 flight-capable jets, and begin flight air testing. Then the company plans to move its development of its next aircraft called Dark Horse. This is interesting stuff. Look at this thing, bro. This is what. Let me see if there's a YouTube video on this. Because this stuff is like, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, here's their channel. Okay. Okay, let's watch this video.
Hermes is a company that is speeding up the global human transportation network, and we're doing that by building aircraft that can travel at 5 times the speed of sound.
Throughout history, there have been massive social and economic benefits when cities are connected faster.
Our initial numbers are that you can drive up GDP about 2% just by enabling connection with Mach 5 flight.
Interesting. So their argument is the economic benefit to a lot of other companies if they're able to get things done quicker, more productive. It's kind of the Palantir argument, right? If you can be more faster and efficient and effective with your data, you can save money and you can make more money. If they can get things from place to place in a faster way, they can save money.
2% doesn't sound like a lot, but that's $4 trillion of growth.
We can make a vehicle fly that fast with today's technology.
I joined Hermes for the challenge. I'm an engineer, and to go through and try and design something new and novel is the best challenge of it all.
Because we all trust each other and kind of have each other's back, it's a very welcoming and encouraging environment to be in.
Interesting. Do we have any videos of the plane? That's kind of what I wanted to see. Let's look at their 2021 year in review.
A lot has happened this year at Hermes. 6 months ago, this building didn't exist.
We acquired a bunch of engines and ran over 100 tests to gather real-world data and anchor predictive models.
And now, we've got our custom engine on the test stand.
We signed a $60 million partnership with the Air Force.
Opened our new factory.
Built a full-scale demonstrator of our first aircraft quarter horse.
And we've more than doubled the size of our team.
2021 was an amazing year. We're just getting started.
See, this is a company that Palantir should be investing in, bro. Like, this is a company that True Greenbart says not impressed. Hey man, I mean, they're trying to fly 5 times the speed of sound. That's I don't know. It's interesting to me. It's dope to me. 1170 Palantir. We're getting that drop. We are getting that drop. It's hard to sustain things. Very, very, very hard to sustain things. Trying to fight off the green candle. Again, it's Friday. Fridays are rougher. Fridays are absolutely rougher. Who just urged Ukraine to destroy lab pathogens? What the F is going on there? Yeah, the biolab stuff, I got to do more research on that. It's a little bit tricky what's going on there. I don't know what's going on there. But that stuff is a little scary with what's going on there. Open Door is also doing really well, guys. Open Door was at $6. If you bought Open Door, you would have had almost a 20 or like 15% gain. Now that it's at $7.39. Open Door looks cheap, but their business model is, again, this market maker for houses. It's a little bit hard to fully understand them. Juan, what's up, bro? Thank you for being here. I like them, but what does Palantir bring? So that test that they did, where they were like, we ran a bunch of simulations and predictive analytics, that to me is Palantir. Like, that's exactly what I think Palantir would be doing. Like, if you're trying to fly 5 times the speed, like, if Palantir's working with Lilium and they're building on their electric jets off the Foundry platform, you know, why couldn't Hermes use all the data that they have, which is probably a lot of it, to make better intelligent business decisions with Palantir software? That's the integration I thought it would work. And even if they didn't, if they were just a SPAC investor, to be honest, I think that would be good. Or at least that would be promising, right? Because when you have In-Q-Tel funding you, that's also one thing to understand. You've got the support of the CIA and the government. So, like, that $60 million partnership they signed with Air Force, it's going to be harder for them. They're going to fail if the product doesn't work, not because they run out of money. Palantir 1163. 1163. Yeah, we're having a little bit of the sell-off, guys. It's happening. That's what it is on a Friday. That's what it is. I mean, I couldn't expect more. It's a Friday. It's another week of just how this happens. And also, again, there's no catalyst for it to go up. This Russia-Ukraine talking, like, that's not really a big catalyst. I think, Owen, you mentioned that a little bit earlier, right? That's not the craziest catalyst. What is your take on Sentinel-1? Let's look those guys up. I don't know what Sentinel-1 is. Sentinel-1. Cybersecurity, $34. Let's look at their stock. What is their stock price? So their stock price is S. That's their ticker symbol, S. These guys got S as their ticker symbol. Wow. They IPO'd in what, 2021? Okay. So they IPO'd at $40 or something. Now they're at 32. So I don't know much about them. So I can't say too much, but from a quick Google search, it seems like they're a huge cybersecurity company. Cybersecurity startup based in Mountain View, California. Cybersecurity is interesting. There's so many different cybersecurity startups. I didn't know cybersecurity was like this big of a deal. Yeah, I don't know much about the stock. I would definitely have to do a little bit more research on it. But very, very interesting to see that they have the ticker symbol S. is always interesting. At what price is SoFi a buy? Guys, SoFi to me is one of the most disruptive fintech companies I've ever seen, and I'm scared as hell of buying it. And the reason for that is because I don't think the market respects SoFi at all. Now, like SoFi had a phenomenal earnings. I think it ran up to $13, and before that it had another rally to $14, and the market just doesn't care. So to me, if you're buying SoFi, you're buying into their growth story. Anthony Noto, their CEO, just recently bought, I don't know how many more thousands of shares. He disclosed his SEC filings. So, and Anthony Noto, that CEO is a boss. I mean, that CEO is an absolute boss. The problem is for me is just like, you know, why would I trust it right now in this market? That's the problem. So, like, if you believe in it long term, I believe that you should buy it at $9 or even lower than that, because it's like it's a buy. It was at 20. But its all-time high is 20, so for it to get to 100% and then get to its all-time high again, it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna happen overnight, right? But I like the company a lot. Like, I really like the company. I just don't know if I want to be in it for the long run. Because if you're buying it, it's in it for the long run. I don't think you're in it for a couple of days. That's my thing for me. That's my thing. Bike Pimp, hey Amit, hello. Dead cat bounce today. Yeah. Dead cat bounce today. That's what it's looking like. If we look at the watch list, guys, a lot of red. Let's look at Bitcoin. We didn't go to Bitcoin today. No one reminded me about Bitcoin. 39K. 39. That's fine for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's been at 39 all week. But yeah, Bitcoin is Bitcoin. Why is Amazon... What is going on with Amazon? I think I have something on Amazon that's not updating real time on Webull for some reason. Because yesterday it was also not updating. But yeah, that's what we have. Dogecoin. Does anyone remember when Dogecoin was 67 cents? Like, Dogecoin 67. Wait, Baba's below 90? What? Baba's below... Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Who owns Baba? Put it in the chat. It's okay. Don't be afraid to admit it. We're not going to make fun of you. We might make fun of you a little bit, but just, like... First of all, Baba IPO'd at, what is this, $89. and it ran up within a month to $120. Baba, look at this chart. This is 8 years of just right back to normal. This is the stock market. This is the stock market. You could be on an amazing high and then just plummet back to the ground. By the way, Charlie Munger bought like $572 million worth of Baba at $125. He bought a lot of Baba. And he's down significantly on that investment. Now, the Baba people will just say, hey, it's undervalued. It's absolutely ridiculous. Blah, blah. That's what gets me annoyed. When the Baba people say, you know, Baba is so massively undervalued at $89. And when I'm like, hey, Palantir is really undervalued at $11, people are like, oh, it's expensive. I'm like, well, we don't have the threat of China pulling our stock from the market. Like, you bought Baba back at 91. Well, that's good. I mean, you're only down a couple bucks if you only bought it at 91. Like, and you could still get out of it relatively for less pain. But goodness, 319 to 89 within a year and a half. My goodness. I was thinking of buying Baba too when it was at 100. I was like, why not? Like, Baba's, if you know Alibaba and their business model, I mean, they are Amazon of China times 10 based upon the fact that they do wholesaling. Right? So they're not as valuable as Amazon, but they're a really big company. And they have Alipay, AliExpress. There are so many things included in Alibaba Group. But the Chinese government doesn't want these mother lovers to get bigger. You know, it's rough. I'm too scared to buy Chinese stocks. Yeah, I'm too scared of it. I first Baba at 300 like an idiot. Shokat, do you still have Baba? Victor says, because Charlie Munger and Buffett aren't as good as in today's market. They know nothing about Tesla, Bitcoin, Palantir. Yeah, I mean, like, it's crazy that Munger and Buffett missed out on Tesla. Isn't that insane? Like, think about how much money Buffett and Munger had. And if they just understood Tesla in 2017, 2018, 2019, even 2020, when Buffett was unloading his airlines because of COVID, imagine if he just understood what was going on with Wright's Law, with Moore's Law, lithium batteries, the demand for EV vehicles, like all the research that Kathy did. Imagine if he had just looked at a sliver of it, because he did that in 2016 with Apple. 2016 with Apple, he was like, I've got to buy Apple. Apple's undervalued. And he also said, I made a mistake. I actually want to pull up that video. We're going to watch that, where he says he made a mistake on not buying Apple soon enough. Imagine if they just understood that a little bit earlier. And if they did, they would imagine they put money into Tesla. Like, he would have had a 30-something X return. Like, it would have been absolutely insane. And they had the money to do it, but they didn't do it. They did not do it. All right, let's look at this right here.
Probably spent since a little before the election, maybe, because we were maybe $20 billion even.
$20 billion? You're just counting the billions in your head as you sit here doing this?
Well, I was, yeah. I quit when I got to 20.
And why now? Again, is there a reason for this, or is it just you look at individual stocks that you wanted to own and you bought them?
I absolutely look at individual stocks. It has nothing to do with the Federal Reserve. It has nothing to do with the election. It would have something to do with interest rates if they did something extraordinary. It hasn't had, because they haven't changed that much. But there just were a couple of things I wanted to do, and we had the money, and I like investing, and I would much rather have that $20 billion in these companies. And I don't look at it as being in stocks. I look at it as being in businesses. It's just small pieces of businesses. And I would so much rather have that than have the money in treasury bills, which is my alternative. I don't have any problem with the decision at all.
What are the businesses? Should I assume it's Apple and the airlines based on what we've seen?
I think that's a good guess.
But $20 billion, is that more than what we have been told based on the...
$20 billion, bruh. He just casually put $20 billion into Apple. Like, imagine if they just dropped that into Tesla. The returns for Buffett and Munger would be better than ARK probably, because they had a lot of other stocks with the value stocks, so it just would have performed well over time. But they're just rigid. They just don't want to, like, they just don't want to like understand technology at a different level, which is why, you know, they're obviously not buying Palantir or any of the other tech stocks. Someone says, how is he coherent at like 100 years old? Yeah, that's the thing about Buffett. He's old, but he's able to talk. And that's the beautiful thing about him being able to talk. So that's the interesting part. All right, guys, that is going to conclude our market stream. Thank you guys so much for being here. Podcast today on Sachin Sharma's channel, Palantir Weekly. We're going to be discussing all the stuff that has been going on for Palantir over the week. We're going to be talking about that data walk competitor. So if you guys want to check it out, definitely check out Sachin's channel. I will be there live tonight around 10:50 p.m. We will be talking then, and we will be going from there. Enjoy your Friday. Get stuff done. Last day of the week. Make it count. Do something important. Keep it going. Keep the energy going. Next week is another week. Whatever goals you have, continue to fight for those goals. It is very difficult in this world to get anything done. Consistency is the most important thing, and I'm saying this advice not just to you, but to myself, because to be consistent, I think I've done a full week of live streams this week. So awesome, awesome stuff. We're going to keep going. This YouTube channel will have 100,000 subscribers one day. We are going to get there. It takes a lot of hard work, takes a lot of dedication to get there. It takes a lot of commitment. But we're going to do it. And eventually Palantir's stock price will also rise as that happens as well. Now, final thing I'll say, I have a very special announcement coming next week. I think a lot of you are going to be interested in this. A very special announcement. You're going to enjoy it. It's going to be fun. Probably launching around Wednesday, Thursday next week. I can't say what it is, but it's going to be fun. And it has to do with the Palantir community. I'll just say that. So some of you guys may know what it is. Some of you guys may not. Wednesday, Thursday, look out for that special announcement, and I will see you guys then. Thank you guys so much for joining and spending your morning with me. It means the world. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye. Now, final thing I'll say.